Welcome to King Says So, a channel that advocates for one Africa, one land, one Africa, one language, one Africa, one currency, one Africa, one army. I wish to witness Africans all around the world united as one in our lifetime. Enjoy. This episode was proudly brought to you by Black Heart Clothing. Black Heart Clothing, after the African spirit. For any inquiries and orders, please contact us on 068 473 6908 or email us on theblackheart@gmail.com. The Black Heart, the hustle continues. Jambo, habari, mimi na King, nina furaha kukutana na wewe. Ninajifunza Kiswahili kidogo kidogo. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy King 053, Mr. Easy Imali Enengi Nengi, and we're back at it again with another one. And yes, that's how we greet in Swahili, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching a Pan-Africanist channel, so obviously in this channel, you know you can learn other languages. Go on my playlist, you will see Monday Kiswahili, and learn as much as you can when it comes to the Swahili language. So in Swahili, we greet with, you can say jambo or you can say habari. Habari is a formal greeting of Kiswahili. You say habari. If you want to say my name is, you say mimi na King. My name is King. Mimi na King. Nina furaha kukutana na wewe, meaning it is nice to meet you. So I'm not going to show off too much on that. As Pan-Africanists, we need to advocate for one Africa, one language. And in this channel, I believe that Kiswahili is one of the languages that can interlink people in Africa. So learn Kiswahili, ladies and gentlemen. So when you go to other African countries that speak Swahili, you can communicate, or at least you can introduce yourself in the language. So Julius Malema, I've been covering this. He went to Kenya. He was invited there by Dr. Professor Lumumba to say, listen, come, we are launching a Pan-African Institute. Come and speak, come be our guest speaker. So later on, because of he had a lot of programs, he went to, I want to say Parliament, where the young parliamentarians welcome him. This is parliamentarians from the ruling party and the oppositions, you know, and it was so nice to see them welcoming Julius Malema the way they welcome Julius Malema. It is only us South Africans who don't realize how important of a role Julius Malema is playing in our politics. Unfortunately, in politics and in everything that has to do with African life, we celebrate it after they are gone. We're going to regret it. When we look back, we're going to regret not celebrating Julius Malema. Look how he is welcomed in Kenya. Now, obviously, Julius Malema being the person he is, when he speaks, he rattles some feathers, obviously, and of course of the opposition party, attacking the leader of the opposition party, but also with the ruling party, the president of Kenya, Julius Malema, also attacking him. And attacking him, I'm not saying in a disrespectful manner, in a manner where we are questioning the African spirit, the Pan-African spirit in every leader in Africa. And as a young people, we must never be afraid to stand up and say, listen, you old people, you are leading us the wrong way, or you are slowing us down into gaining our full potential as Africans. So one of the opposition leaders, young parliamentarian, Mwanamke Mrembo, am I saying that right? Mwanamke Mrembo. It means such a beautiful lady. Anyway, we have to learn how to say that. Gentlemen, it's very important. Mwanamke Mrembo. It's very important. Azana, she stood up and she said, listen, I wanted to attack Julius Malema, but when he gave his speech yesterday, he gained our trust, and he got our what we call our forgiveness, because now we understood that we are speaking to a true Pan-Africanist. Let's listen to Azana when she speaks, and then I'll come back for more.
Let's have Honorable Zena, also part of the Senate of this place, and also a very promising young leader. Welcome.
Thank you. All protocol observed. Good morning. Senator Hezena Lemalitian from Samburu County, the youth senator in the Republic of Kenya, and I'm also known as the Queen of the North, Global Peace Ambassador, Goodwill Culture and Charity Ambassador for the Commonwealth, and I'm also still the reigning Miss Commonwealth Kenya. But up and above all, I am a very staunch Pan-Africanist.
Very good.
And I was coming here to actually attack Honorable Malema for touching on a very raw nerve during the electioneering period in Kenya about Baba, His Excellency Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. But I'm very inspired by his wisdom yesterday, because I was very shocked. I was like, does this man know who Raila Odinga is? He is the older version of Malema in this country. When the economic situation is too hard, we cry to Baba. I remember you crying to Mama, Mama, and that is when I actually knew about you. But now that you are right on course, I want to say that you're inspiring a very strong movement of young Pan-Africanists, and you are really empowering us, and I really hope that in your famous speeches, because when you speak, even the rats and snakes listen in this continent, you deconstruct the abuse of the Kaunda suit, that only strictly Pan-Africanists will wear the Kaunda suit as a representation of the true position of Africans. And in this room today is the future of Africa and the future of this country. Regardless of our political divides, regardless of who our political principles are right now, this is the future of Kenya. So I really hope you take a very keen note on the abuse of the Kaunda suit, because we do not want wolves wearing sheep's skin. I am also the treasurer of the Kenya Young Parliamentarians, and I'm honored to meet you. Thank you.
Please clap for Zena, please. And at this juncture, I want to invite my good friend, Honorable Caleb. Caleb is serving.
Now, Azano is not the only young parliamentarians that welcome Julius Malema. There is a length of other leaders in parliament that welcome from the ruling party and opposition, like I said, and all of them with such respect. You would think that they are speaking to a Nelson Mandela the way they were speaking, or they are speaking about an elderly person. I mean, Julius Malema is not that old. He's in his 40s. He's nowhere close to being an old person. But the amount of impact he has in Africa was just beautiful to see. Africans standing up together and loving each other, even if we had differences. You must remember, this is the opposition and the ruling party. They don't see eye to eye in many issues. These ones are trying to take these ones out. These ones, are trying to stay in power. So it's not an easy thing to come together and sit in one room. And it takes a person of the stature of Julius Malema to sit these two political enemies, if I can put it like that, in one room. And his speech, he spoke now for 20 minutes or about there. So I'm not going to play the whole speech to save you time. I'm just going to highlight the important parts that I gathered from his speech. And you guys can just go and search the speech and you will get the whole speech. But Julius Malema said, as the youth of a political party or a youth of a country, never mind being part of politics, we must always be radical and make sure that we are pushing the elders to achieve the economical freedom that we need. It is very important that we as the youth, and he was telling them, say, you as the youth, they must be always calling you to order. because you are radical. Youth must have energy. He made an example of the June 16 here in South Africa, how the ANC Youth League under the leadership of Tambo and Nelson Mandela Utata rendered the country ungovernable. How when they were arrested with Julius, the Ravonia trial, they were young men in their youth when Nelson Mandela and them got the sentence for 27 years for life imprisonment in a Robben Island. They were youth, they were young men. They came back as old men. They came back as old men. The purpose was to kill them there. But because of the international pressures, because of the international pressures and the ANC fighting also in the ground with people like Mama Winnie Madikizela, not giving up on the fight, taking arms and fighting the government that we stood no chance against. They had more weaponry, they had more support than us as Africans, but we fought. So Julius Malema was saying it is very important for the youth to be radical and fight. Okay, so let me just play that clip and then come and give you guys more breakdown of his beautiful speech.
There's no step I've missed in my life of politics. I've led the ANC in my own right, not through the Youth League, and which means I've led a ruling party. So I can teach you politics of ruling party, scenes of the incumbency, and I can teach you politics of the opposition. So I know both. I've been in the ruling party and I'm now in the opposition. One thing that you should know as young people is that you've got a license, a permit to make mistakes. So you must never in your youth seek to be perfect. Because once you seek to be perfect, you cease to be the youth. You are an elder. So there is no difference between you and Raila. There ought to be a difference. When they say you are a leader of the youth in Raila Odinga's party, there must be a difference between the youth in the Raila Odinga's party and the leadership of the mother body. So the mother body has got a duty to always call you to order. So, because you've got energy, you must demand that things must be done and they must be done now. And the elders will always drag their feet because they've been there like you, being impatient and then deciding, these things are what they are, they won't change. You must come and push them to change. You must never ever allow elders to make mistakes without you, the young ones, calling them out. So when the elections were ran here in Kenya, results were announced, there was a threat of violence. And we know what happened in the previous elections here in Kenya, where people died because of elections. Why should elections in Africa be associated with death? Because democracy is not death. Democracy, by all means, is a right to live and live a beautiful life. And most of the comrades in the Comrade Raila Odinga's party were not happy with me when I said, you're not going to do violence in the name of elections and in the name of Honorable Raila Odinga. Because no one must die after elections. Even when Raila Odinga is robbed and cheated, with clear evidence, no one must die. Robbed with evidence, daylight, no one must die. Why should people die because you are robbed elections? There are systems in Kenya where dispute can be made, and then once the final arbiter makes a final decision, Whether we're happy with it or we're not happy with it, we must accept it. Those clowns in America, they rob each other all the time. Huh? I mean, Trump was feeling like he's being robbed. He even said, stop counting, stop the counting. Because he said he was being robbed.
I want to jump to a part in a speech, about 9 minutes into his speech, where he spoke about how the apartheid police came into his house and they were looking for men and young boys, and they found his mother there, his grandmother with 8 daughters, and they stripped Julius Malema's mother down in front of the family just to check and to make sure that she is not a man. If you've got any heart in your functioning biological body, you would know how much of a trauma that is, or that was and still is, to the family of Malema. That will traumatize you forever. You will never forget such a thing as an African if that happens to you. You will never forget it. And sometimes you see Julius Malema reacting the way he reacts around white Afrikaners, and the passion he has in terms of fighting apartheid. Because in South Africa, my Kenyan people, those who are watching from Kenya, and we are international in this channel. All African countries are watching this channel. In South Africa, we are still suffering apartheid. The apartheid, the formal one, has subsided, but the system of apartheid still rules in South Africa. Such an extent that in 2023, you still find young black African children being chased out of school because of the texture of their hair. In South Africa, we're still experiencing such. So for me, it was a very touching story, because I've never heard this story before. I'm hearing it for the first time. For me, I can't imagine seeing white men stripping my mother naked in front of me to check if she's male or female. You guys should understand. Sometimes when Julius Malema reacts, you guys should understand.
At the age of 9 and 10, police raided my house. Male police found us sleeping. They were looking for young boys and men. In my house, there were no men. There was only women. My grandmother had 9 children. 8 of them were women. When they searched a full house full of people, they couldn't find men. And those male police had to strip off my mother, take off her clothes in front of me for them to confirm if she's a real woman. If you lived that experience, you will know what the Palestinians are going through. Forceful removal is what we lived in South Africa. We know what it means. When you wake up tomorrow, yesterday you had all house, land, everything. Tomorrow you have nothing. That's what we see now in Palestine.
Understand. Let's just listen to him when he spoke about his experience in Kenya, and I'll come back for more.
6 visas, because Africa must be one. I must wake up. It's a 4-hour flight from South Africa to here. I must wake up in South Africa and come and eat lunch here. And then in the afternoon get into a plane, go back. So why should it be an issue? All of these visas, borders must be done away. You know why they think we are xenophobic? We don't know each other. The more we do away with visas and borders and all of that, the more we're going to know each other and realize that we're actually one thing. There's nothing I'm seeing in this room which I've not seen in South Africa. There's nothing that suggests to me as I wake up, as I walk the streets of Nairobi, that suggests something different to me. It's my first time here, but it's as if I've been here many times. Why? Everything is familiar. These are my people. This is me. And to say you welcome me in Kenya is like welcoming me in Johannesburg. This is my home. Everywhere else in Africa is our home. You, the youth, must come and learn in South Africa. South Africans must come and learn here in our universities, cultural exchanges, and we must start to listen to the same music, watch the same movies, to do away with this Western imperialism that manifests itself through songs and television and movies and all of that. Nigerians have got it. They are on the right track. They need our support. How do we support them? We must join them in producing our own movies, our own music, and do away with the on-site. So
now, what I like about Julius Malema's experience in Kenya, he keeps on highlighting that stop saying welcome to Kenya. I am at home. Kenya is only 4 hours to with a flight. I can come here, eat lunch, and go back. We can interlink and interchange with in terms of exchanging knowledge, information, music, culture. As Africans, we need to have that connections where if you have it, I have it. If you don't have it, I give it to you. You have it. We're helping each other. Isandla phezu kwesandla. That is what we want. Asante sana. That means thank you so much in Swahili. In Swahili, when you want to say thank you, you say asante. When you want to say thank you very much or so much, you say asante sana. Guys, I'm teaching you guys so many things. If you're new on this channel, please click the subscribe button because it's very important, and click the like button and leave your thoughts on the comment sections because I need to know what you Africans are thinking. And if you're from Kenya, please write your name and tell me where you are watching us from in Kenya. I'm going to give you guys a shout out on my next video because I love you guys so much. Kenyans, I love you so much. You are such resilient and passionate people, Kenyan people. So as Africans, Julius Malema was just highlighting that there is nothing new that he's seeing in Kenya. Everything he sees in Kenya is the same thing as South Africa. Nothing. And I've not heard this only from Malema. If you are on YouTube, you have seen Americans coming from America, obviously coming to visit Africa, and they closely relate Kenya to South Africa. They can't choose between the two, like which one is better, Kenya or South Africa, and all of that. And it is nice to see that Julius Malema got a very well welcome in Kenya. I love it so much. I love it so much. One of my wish in terms of bucket list is traveling all 54 countries in Africa. That before I die, if God can grant me that, so I can go around and teach about the Pan-African spirit and make sure that I represent South Africa well in other countries, because we have that notion that people want that narrative that South Africa is xenophobic, and it is not true. Africans need to see people like me and you who represent the Pan-Africanist heart to other Africans. We love our Zimbabwean brothers, our Lesotho brothers, we love our Mozambican brothers, we love our Kenyan, our Ghanaians, we love our Nigerian brothers, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, you can name it, Gabon, everywhere, Malawi. We love everyone in Africa. I can't name all 54 states, but that's what I'm saying to you guys. We need to show more love to each other, more respect to each other, and most importantly, we need to learn about each other. The more you learn about other cultures, the more you learn about other people, the more you get to know them better. The problem is, especially in South Africa, I'll say it, we have a tendency of, when some people come from other countries to our country that they must learn our culture and not us learning their culture or their language or things like that. You know, when I meet a brother from um, Zimbabwe, I want to know how to taura. I want to know taura Shishona Mbichana. I need to learn how to learn to speak in Shona and greet in Shona. You know, it's so important to greet in Shona. Say mangwanane, you know, makasimba here, takasimba. It's so nice to speak all of these languages, and I'm a linguist at heart. You know, I love language so much. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope I didn't make it too long. It's very important for Africans to love each other. If you do like anything that has to do with Pan-Africanism, you are at home. Here, you are at home. Click the subscribe button. We're trying to reach 10,000. 10,000 subscribers before the end of this year. It's very important. We are at 7,000 something now. Let's hit this 8,000 so we can go to 9 and 10 before the year ends, guys. I believe in you guys. I believe in an African spirit. Thank you so much for subscribing. It's free. For those who don't know, subscribing is free. Just click the subscribe button and click the bell icon also so that you guys can be notified every time I upload some content. Until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. And after you pray, stand up and do your best and allow God to do the rest. I salute you.